Today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day so far. Looking forward to a great weekend, staying healthy and staying strong. Hi, Surya. Hi, Murugeshan. Hi, honey. Hi, Elite. Nice to see our members and our students in the class already. Waiting to learn. Fantastic. Students, in this class, we are looking at Task 2 writing. Specifically, we are going to focus on Band 9 body paragraphs and conclusion. This is following from the planning and the introduction that we started yesterday. Hi, Rajveer. Hi, Yarabisha. The lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Please visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of materials for you, and you can use the code R4TYJ to get a 20% discount. All right, cool. So I'll show you what these sites look like as we get into the class. This is aehelp.com with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join our premium package. And the general version is with the green background. We are world leaders in IELTS preparation. We're also British Council Registration Center partners. We're trained British Council agents. And we're a group of educators and psychologists that design materials especially to improve your learning quickly for English and communication for the IELTS exam. We have thousands of successful students around the world in universities and living their dream and working in their dream jobs. If you have questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will gladly answer your questions. You can get our exam books from Amazon as well. And tomorrow we will have a Q&A question and answer session for our members. So members, get those questions ready for tomorrow. And we'll finish the week with speaking part 2. We always finish the week on Saturday. Mohammed, Azat, I'm doing fantastic. Hi, FF Gaming. Thanks for that compliment. It makes me feel good. Nice of you. Okay, everyone, let's get into this. So we've got lots to do. We've got 2 body paragraphs and a fantastic conclusion to write today. This was the question that we started working on yesterday. Some people believe that the internet has reduced the need for studying facts in history and science. Do you agree or disagree? Give reasons for your answer and include examples from your knowledge or experience. Your knowledge, your experience, it's do you agree or disagree? So it's definitely an I, me, my type of essay. It's a first person voice. Okay. This is a question in an exam that was not so long ago. I think maybe in November or October. Okay. We did lots of great planning yesterday. We discussed the topic. We realized there was a challenging kind of an essay to clearly understand what we're supposed to include. And then we came up with the introductory paragraph for the essay. A good introduction has a hook, a background, and a thesis statement. Okay, let's do this. So now we're going to write the body paragraph. First, let's review our introduction and our thesis statement so we have clarity. Here we go. Okay, read this with me. This is the introductory paragraph. The knowledge taught to each generation of humans differs from the past. That's the hook. Okay, so when you read the hook, this hook is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, if I counted right. It's 12 words, and I'm encouraging students to have 12 words or less. Okay? All right. Fennel says, how many words can be written for part 2? I don't know what you mean, Fennel, by part 2. Like, do you mean the background in the introduction, or what do you mean? Okay, there is no such thing as part 2. There's an introduction, body 1, body 2, conclusion. Okay. All right. So here, students, the knowledge taught to each generation of humans differs from the past. It makes the reader interested. It's like, okay, you're talking about what people learn in each generation. I get that. I wonder what you will express, right? Rajveer's saying in task 2, okay, that's what part 2 meant, I guess, by Fennel, Rajveer, right? 250 words minimum. Unati, it's not 250 words, it's 250 words minimum. Most Band 8, Band 9 essays are closer to 300 words, okay? Yeah, Lubna says 300, 350 even. Yeah, 300, 320, okay? All right. No, that's not true, FF Gaming. You can write past 270 depending on the size of letters that you use. Okay? There is no maximum. Your maximum is limited by time and space. Time and space. In the computer-based exam, you can actually write quite a bit. All right? It's 40 minutes, not 20, Mohammed. 40. Okay? Elite Gamer says, what if you write less than 250 words? Elite, if you write less than 250 words, you lose marks. So you have to write at least 250 words to get a band 9. Okay? All right. Yes, everything gets marked, Fuktran. The hook and everything else. Okay, so let's do this. So the hook is good. It's short. It's to the point. No mistakes. The background. The best school curriculum prepares learners to not only survive, but also to thrive in society. And traditionally, for the past few generations, this has included a concentration on both history and science. However, times have changed, and so have the needs of modern day people. So, first of all, what I'm doing in the background is I'm defining the discussion, okay, the argument. So the definition here is that the school curriculum prepares students to survive and thrive in society, and because of this, the past couple generations learned history and learned science. So that's the definition of the idea. Okay. However, times have changed, and so have the needs of modern day people. That's the importance of the question. So this is why it's important to talk about it, because change is happening. Change is for sure, right? Okay, so therefore, I completely support the idea that the internet has reduced the need for modern day learners to concentrate as much on historical and scientific facts in their studies, as the World Wide Web not only provides convenient access to such information, but also creates a demand for alternative skills to prosper. Okay, so this is the golden sentence of my essay. Golden sentence because it tells the reader my position. So I completely support this idea, okay, in the question, that there's less of a need for learners to concentrate on history and science. And it also tells my learner why I think that, because it provides convenient access to information, and it also creates alternative skills to prosper. Okay? All right? Everybody with me so far? So far, so good? Okay. So now I have direction, and now I want to complete my essay. Okay. In order to complete my essay, I need 3 more paragraphs to get my band 9. Body 1 will be a discussion of convenient access. So less need to teach or less need to learn history, science because of convenient access. Okay, so this is the focus. All right. So firstly, I need a topic sentence. And for my topic sentence, I need a definition of convenient access. Okay. So here I'm leading my reader into a more specific idea and argument about my position, about my ideas. Okay. All right. So write some topic sentences. Let's really get moving here, students, and let's really work through these body paragraphs. If I don't catch what you write, don't worry about it. I'll try to catch it the next time. Okay. MBF, you're very, very welcome. Okay. All right. Ferdov says, anytime when people need data about the past in science, they can instantly gain information from the internet. Good. I'd add one more piece there, Ferdovs, but I think you're on the right track. I would add one more piece. So what you're emphasizing for Dobbs is anytime, right? So anytime. Okay. Lubna says the World Wide Web is a reliable source of information on the go. It's fancy writing, Lubna, but I don't think it's clear enough. I think we can be clear. Okay, clarity is very important. Cohesion and clarity. OS says most people nowadays tend to use the net in study because it's more convenient and cheaper and provides plenty of information. Okay. It's okay, OS. I think there's some better points here. Rajveer says scholars obtain a wealth of information about history and science effortlessly from the internet using smart gadgets. Okay, Rajveer, not bad. Okay, not bad. I still think there's a better way to write the topic sentence. Karen Veer says, the advent of technology has led people to get information about sciences and technology just a click away. Okay, yeah, but what do you mean by that, Karen? So what do you mean just a click away? So you're not writing a magazine article, Karen. You're writing for the IELTS and a persuasive essay. Okay. Alex says nowadays information is in the fingertips, so many people rely on the internet to study history and science. Okay. Fennel says, Jayesh Tamakuwala says certain people take the internet to use it either to explore new topics or to study the known topic in more detail. Fennel, science and history. Okay, let's not get into other topics because there's culture, there's music, there's a lot of other topics. Students, when you're thinking about your essay, okay, a good essay always goes from a general topic to a more specific argument. So, internet reduces need to learn science and history. Okay, so now we're going more specific here. Okay, so we're going more and more specific. So here we're talking about internet is convenient to access information on science history. Okay, so this is still our introduction, our thesis. Okay, now what is convenient? Okay, so lots of information on science and history. Okay, and anytime and anywhere. Okay, so when I'm thinking about convenience, I know it's a little bit hard to read my chicken scratch sometimes, but the basic idea is there's a wealth of information that can be accessed anytime and anywhere. Okay, so time is not an issue and location is not an issue. Here, visualize the past and the present. In the past, if you wanted to find out information, you had to go to a library, research it from a book, or find an expert and discuss it with them. But now, you just type the keyword into your search engine on your mobile phone that's in your pocket, and you have information right away in great detail. Okay, so visualize that, all right? Okay, Everybody with me? So the topic sentence that's going to get you closer to that band 9 response is the internet, or the, did I use internet last? I want to use always some new words. I used World Wide Web here, so I'm going to use the internet or the net later on, okay? So the internet allows individuals to access information about the past or sciences virtually anywhere and immediately without and in great detail. Okay, so that's my band 9 topic sentence, because anywhere, immediately, up-to-date detail, that's my convenience. Okay, those together equal convenience. Everybody with me? Everybody got that? So all I did is I took this convenient access to and I defined it as location, time, okay, and detail. Everybody got me? Is that clear? Okay, don't try to get too fancy, keep it clear. All right? Okay. All right. All right, Lydia, welcome back to the class. Happy always to see you. Okay, Pachu says the internet has made it possible to access a lot of information about history and science with facts and figures without the constraints of location and time. So Pachu, you want to finish that with without the constraints of location and time. Okay, so Hunter gets it. Yeah. Rajveer Sarai gets it. Okay, good. So now I want to explain that. So what do you mean about this? Okay, so keep in mind the original question is students don't need to learn as much in school. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so explain this. All right, so explain this to me. I'm an alien from another planet. I'm smart. Okay, but I don't know what the internet is on Earth. And I don't know what science and history information access is and why you don't need to learn it. So explain this sentence or this idea to me in a visual and quantitative fashion. So give me a nice, clear explanation for this, okay? And I like how you wrote EXP, so I know it's your explanation. Okay. Rashika, that's a good topic sentence. So the World Wide Net offers people access without constraints of time and location. That's very good. Okay. So Un says, many prestigious websites these days provide people with a wealth of data written by historians and scientists about their work and experience. By using digital devices with internet connections, this can be accessed from the home, office, or out in the park. Yeah, absolutely, Un. Okay, that is a good explanation. All right, so you're definitely on the right track. Ferdov says, in other words, they can search for any necessary information from their smartphones just by pushing a button and commanding using their voice on Google anywhere, anytime. Or Ferdovs, if you want to be a little bit more clear there, you could say a search engine, right? Okay. Un continues by saying people can seek data quickly from the comfort of their homes, whereas others have to attend lecture to get the same information. Okay, good, Un. So you're keeping in mind the decreased need to learn scientific facts and historical facts. Very good. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. All right. Sunem says the internet has enabled people from all walks of life to access information about any topic under the sun with just a click of a button. Sanem, that's not more specific than my topic sentence. So in the explanation, be careful not to just simply repeat the topic sentence. Okay, students, it's really important to avoid repetition. Repetition is your enemy in task 2, and I see that often times. So let me just kind of give that important tip to you here. Okay, so repetition of ideas without further detail is the enemy in task 2, because it eats up your time and decreases your score. Okay, everybody got that important point? Okay, you do not want to be repeating yourself in task 2. If your explanation is just a repetition of your topic sentence, even if you're paraphrasing, you're losing valuable time for details and you're losing scores because repetition leads to incoherence. Okay? If you keep saying the same idea over and over again, eventually your listener, your audience will be like, what's wrong with this person? Why are they just repeating the same idea over and over? So repetition is the enemy. Everybody got that, hopefully. It's a very important point, and it's one of the most common mistakes, okay? A very common mistake. In IELTS, even among high-level students, okay? They take the same idea and they repeat it several times without any new information in the essay. Okay? All right. Okay. So it looks like a few of you got that. Great. So portable devices such as laptops and smartphones enable learners to research the latest articles on science and history whenever needed, and this makes it less important to commit such information to memory in school classes. At work, school, or home whenever needed, and this makes it less important, okay? All right. I can keep improving it. And when you're at home, you should do this. Okay, so I'm going into more details here. So this is my explanation. Portable devices such as laptops and smartphones enable learners to research the latest articles and videos on science and history at work, school, at home, whenever needed, and this makes it less important to commit such information to memory in school classes. All right, good. So far, topic, sentence, explanation. Now comes the example. Okay, so again, let's just read this from the top and then we'll think about our example. So the internet allows individuals to access information about the past or sciences virtually anywhere and immediately and in great up-to-date detail. Portable devices such as laptops and smartphones, which are always connected to the web. I can add more to that. which are connected to the net, enable learners to research the latest articles and videos on science and history at work, school, or home whenever needed. And this makes it less important to commit such information to memory in school classes. Okay, good. Now we need an example. So give me an example. Now, a good example, so don't just rush into your example. So when you think about your example, try to think about an example that will be valuable for you in the second body paragraph. So whenever possible, think of an example that you can also apply or adapt in your next paragraph. This will create a lot of cohesion, okay? Also, make sure it is specific and easy for your reader, okay? So don't write an example where your reader's like, what, I've never heard about that before. That's not your goal. You're not trying to impress your reader by confusing them, okay? You want to convince your reader by giving them an example that they can also understand. So your reader should understand your example, okay? All right. Okay, Nadia says, due to the easy access of the internet with connection of Wi-Fi, individuals can get knowledge through Google, search related topics on science and history at home. Okay, Nadia, that's your explanation, I'm guessing. Okay. Pachu says, people get access to this information through different digital devices, such as mobile phones and their PCs, big P, big C, small s, Pachu. Yeah, okay, good, but that's still just the explanation. I'm looking for the example now. Simranjit says, CBS News claimed in 2017 that since the arrival of the internet, the usage of theory books has reduced to 45%. Simranjit, that does not convince me of your argument. This is first person, so it should be I. Use I for this in this case. Okay, I'm not going to add that there because some of you will think that you always should use I. In this case, your example should use I or me because the question's asking you to do that. Okay, and I know some of you learned in your class that you can't use I or me or my in the Cambridge essays. That's not true. If you look at some of the Cambridge books on IELTS, they will use I, me, my for these types of questions. Okay. And it makes sense because it's do you agree or disagree? Give reasons for your answer and include examples from your knowledge. Okay, so you, your, all right? Meaning I, me, my, I believe. Okay, I already introduced the first person voice in my introduction. So I'm going to continue with that in my example because I'm using an experience from my life, okay? So that's clear, hopefully, for everyone why that is, all right? So here, therefore, I completely support the idea, okay? Now I'm going to give an example of why I completely support the idea that it's convenient, okay? All right, Ferdovs says, for instance, a couple of days ago when my son asked me about a brighter star, I got my Samsung Galaxy smartphone and typing the necessary data, I could explain to my offspring its name and features right away. Yeah, that's Ferdovs. That's a brilliant, okay? That's a perfect example. So everybody heard Ferdovs' example? So for instance, a couple of days ago, my son asked me about a brighter star. I got out my Samsung phone and researched the science so I could explain to him that what it was, okay? Exactly, Ferdovs, all right? It's very, very good. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, for Dobbs, if you take that one step further, think about how you might be able to use that in the second body paragraph. If you can, think about what you could have written that you could have used in the second body paragraph also. Okay. Kawal says, for learning these types of articles on the net, we need not to take science or history subjects so that we know about these. Okay, the process of the COVID vaccine and its effects on us. Okay, Kawal, good. All right, that's good. So you're thinking about the information or the science around the COVID vaccine, right? So yeah, absolutely. So even though I did not learn as much about biology in my high school, as my father, I was able to find out a lot of interesting scientific information about the COVID-19 vaccine by searching on my phone using the internet. Okay, yeah, so something like that, all right? Very good, okay? Rashika says, for instance, my daughter studying in high school, I knew her always going to the internet. Okay, so simplify, Rashika. So for instance, my daughter in high school uses the internet constantly to explore ideas on history and science, which makes her classes much easier. Okay, Rashika, not bad. I don't think there's a very strong support there for the example and the explanation. Okay, so you want to always think like, does my example strongly support my explanation? Okay, so notice here in my explanation that I say whenever the information is needed, we can research it. Okay, and arguably when we're talking about the COVID vaccine, for example, as Kawal cleverly thought about that, we need that information right now because the world wants to get vaccinated and we're all a little bit worried about what's going to happen and how that's going to work. So, of course, you find a lot of people researching about vaccines, how vaccines work, what's the biology. And I bet many people didn't learn about the biology of vaccinations in high school necessarily, but probably a lot of you are learning a lot more now, correct? So, Kawal, it's very clever to think about your real world context, especially with a question like this, where we do often use the internet to research science and history when we need it. Okay? So, and that's going to be very useful for our second body paragraph example as well. All right? Okay. So, here we go. Even though I did not learn as much about biology in my high school as my father, I was able to find out a lot of interesting scientific information about the COVID-19 vaccine by searching on my phone using the internet as soon as this vaccine appeared on the market. And this has allowed me to make an informed decision about my health. Okay? So if I want to give it some more details. All right. Okay. So far so good. Okay, we've got a great paragraph here. Looks quite long, but that's because I have a lot of explanations in here as well. So let me read it for you and let's see if it's cohesive and if it makes sense. It should answer the question in more detail, okay? So the question again is, some people believe that the internet has reduced the need for studying facts in history and science. Do you agree or disagree? And I said that I agree. Now let's see if my body paragraph makes a sound and strong argument for my position. Okay, that's what we're thinking about here. So the internet allows individuals to access information about the past or science virtually anywhere and immediately and in great up-to-date detail. Portable devices such as laptops and smartphones, which are connected to the net, enable learners to research the latest articles and videos on science and history at work, school, or home whenever needed. And this makes it less important to commit such information to memory in school classes. Even though I did not learn as much about biology in my high school as my father, I was able to find out a lot of interesting scientific information about the COVID-19 vaccine by searching on my phone using the internet as soon as this vaccine appeared on the market. And this allowed me to make an informed decision about my health. Okay? So, when I read the question, when I read the body paragraph, do you feel like I clearly explained and supported my argument about the internet is convenient in detail? What's your thoughts? What's your feelings? Does it work? Does it not work? Am I off topic? Or do you feel like, okay, I understand what Adrian is saying, and he makes a good argument? Okay? These are the questions you want to ask yourself when you're reviewing your work, when you're reviewing your writing. Okay? Nargis says, yeah, that makes kind of sense. Okay? All right, so now we want to do the same for body paragraph 2. Okay? So for body paragraph 2, okay, the second point is the internet creates the need for alternative skills to prosper. Okay? Instead, okay, so the whole idea here is instead of learning science and history, all right? So give me a topic sentence that defines that. So what does it mean that the internet is creating the need for new skills to be learned in school instead of science and history? Yes, that's what you have to do, okay? Lubna, thinking that much shouldn't take more time. So I get what you're saying, Lubna, but the idea, Lubna, is to speed up your thinking, okay? Remember, Lubna, that the difference between a band 7 and a band 9 IELTS performance for the speaking and the writing is a lot more about the content. So you have to focus a lot on quick quality thinking, okay? All right. So body 2, give me a deeper definition. Okay. An says, moreover, to survive in this competitive society, students usually have to obtain various skill sets like communication and technical skills, which are usually available online. Yes, okay, An, you're on the right track. Keep in mind that you have to always think about the topic rather than focusing too much energy on science and history, right? So you always want to come back to that and contrast that. So don't forget history, science, history, science, history, science. It's part of our topic, right? Part of our topic, right? Ferdov says, in order to obtain a prosperous life, people must learn through the internet the latest skills which are in demand instead of science and history. Yes, Ferdovs, that's good. Okay, you have your topic in there and you're on the right track with that. Very good, Ferdovs, very good. You're on the right track for that high band. Okay. OS says, studying basic science and math and history through the net develops individual skills and promotes their critical thinking, which will lead to prosper in society. Yeah, okay, OS, I kind of get where you're going. You might want to create a bit further clarity. Okay. Surya says, on the other hand, the world is becoming competitive and skills do not focus on history. The in-demand skills. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fennel says, due to the internet has kept theory knowledge about the past and science aside by giving other skills importance. Yeah, very good, Fennel. I think you're definitely on the right track there. You want to use a little bit more accurate grammar, but your idea is really good. Okay, so an effect of the internet and the information age has been the demand of various skills needed for prosperity that are learned in school, replacing that of historical and scientific knowledge. Okay? Let's make a correction here. Effect, remember? E-F-F-E-C-T, noun, okay? Affect, A, is the verb, all right? Okay, so here we go. An effect of the internet and the information age has been the demand of various skills needed for prosperity that are learned in school, replacing that of historical and scientific knowledge. Okay, and here we go. I'm going to change this a little bit to read better. Learned in school, which replace. Okay, sure. So now we want to explain that. What is that? So an effect of the internet and the information age has been the demand of various skills needed for prosperity that are learned in school, which replace that of historical and scientific knowledge. This can be very strongly argued. Okay, so explain that. What do we mean by that? Okay, write an explanation. I'm going to do the same, and then we'll compare it. Okay, all right. It's not replaces, Caesar, because it's skills replace, okay? So skills replace, not skills replaces, okay? That of historical and scientific knowledge. Okay, explanation, all right. So many people in today's world are working in jobs that require creative and critical thinking and the use of technology rather than factual knowledge of the past. As there are I'm going to use this word because I know a lot of students love it, and I'm going to show you how to use it correctly. So plethora of challenges, of new challenges faced by professionals daily. Okay. So this is my explanation here, all right? So why am I saying this? Because many people in today's world are working in jobs that require creative and critical thinking and the use of technology rather than factual knowledge of the past, as there are a plethora of new challenges faced by professionals daily in a rapidly technologically developing world. Okay, so I'm expanding there. And now I need my example, all right? Let me see what some of you came up with for your explanation. There are different ways to explain this, okay? So there are, it's my explanation isn't the only explanation. There are lots of ways to explain it. Just make sure that there's good connection there, okay? And of course, again, remember what I said, visual and quantitative information. So instead of saying many people in today's world, it's maybe a good idea to write millions of people in today's world are working in thousands of jobs. Okay? And the use of technology. Okay? All right. Simranjeet says traditional subjects are not useful enough for clearing competitive examinations, either for getting admissions into top-notch colleges or to get jobs. Instead, other skills are required, such as technology. Okay, Simranjeet, yeah, that's a different explanation, but again, you're on the right track. Okay, Lubna says this has changed young learners to invest more time in studying computer-based skills, which can eventually lead them to better job prospects. Yes, Lubna, you're on the right track. Good. All right. Chetna says, recently I have learned using the internet the way history is related to different places through a traveling blogger. It has inspired me to make a video in my field of knowledge and share it with others. Okay, Chetna, that's starting to sound more like your example. Okay. Okay, good. Yarbisha says, to get a wealth from life, good work in a modern world, people are much more needed. Let me see, that's your example. Let me go back. Okay. One more time. So Yarbisha, to have a prosperous life and good work in the modern world, people need specific abilities that come from growing fields, such as the ability to quickly adapt to new sophisticated technologies and software platforms. Yarabisha, you have some great ideas. Definitely work on improving your vocabulary base and your grammar so that you can express those ideas as clearly as they are in your mind, okay? But it's a good thought, all right? Okay, so now we're looking for the example. And again, remember what I said. So I'm going to connect my example. If I can use this COVID-19 example, so that's what I'm going to do here, okay? And if I can use I to show first person again, perfect. If not, it's okay. So I read that, there's me using I, okay? So this is my example. I read that the scientists who developed the COVID-19 vaccine were able to do so because of their advanced university curriculums, curricula is the plural, which promoted a high level of critical thinking rather than a pure focus on sciences. Okay? All right, so there is my use of my previous example of that COVID-19 vaccine with the concept of focusing on other skills in school that allow us to prosper or to thrive in the world, okay? Not in the least, I can, if I want to get really advanced here, not in the least, using the internet to quickly communicate and advance their ideas. Okay, so coming back to the internet as that source of power, right? Because that's a critical part of our controlling idea. Okay. So there's my topic, explanation, example. Connecting concluding sentences are okay, but they're not absolutely necessary because when you have good information and good cohesion, your examples, in fact, are a type of connection conclusion. Okay, so here I have my body 2, and my body 2 reads like this. Okay, an effect of the internet and the information age has been the demand of various skills needed for prosperity that are learnt in school, which replace that of historical and scientific knowledge. Millions of people in today's world are working in thousands of jobs that require creative and critical thinking and the use of technology rather than factual knowledge of the past, as there is a plethora of new challenges faced by professionals daily in a rapidly technologically developing world. I read that scientists who developed the COVID-19 vaccine were able to do so because of their advanced university curricula, which promoted a high level of critical thinking rather than a pure focus on sciences, not in the least using the internet to quickly communicate and advance their ideas. Okay? So does that make a strong argument for the internet reducing the need for sciences and history studies in the government or public education system? I feel that it does. Now I need to conclude that. Okay, so now I move to my conclusion. Okay, so far so good, everyone. So everyone's clear on how I'm creating this step-by-step Band 9 essay with strong cohesion. And yes, of course, I'm using a broad range of grammar and vocabulary, but even if you don't have quite this level of vocabulary and grammar, you can still get a Band 9 as long as you're reflecting this level of thinking and structure. So grammar and vocabulary help, but the thinking and structure are more important. Keep that in mind, okay? So I know sometimes students will say, yeah, sure, Adrian, but it's because you know all these words, or no, I could say it in a simpler way, all right? I could say it simpler. So Nikhil Rajveer, Nargis say, yeah, got it, okay? And he says, got it, okay? All right, so now I'm writing my conclusion. Okay, my conclusion has also 3 parts. So the first part is my main points restated. Okay, so this is where you can do a bit of paraphrasing. This is where you can do a little bit of repetition, but you're still not just simply repeating. Okay, so again, my main points were that the internet provides convenience and the need of alternative skills. Okay, and that's what I want to restate here. Okay, so I'm kind of inverting my conclusion, if you will. Okay, so this is where you might be able to use a little bit of what some of you said earlier, like at the click of a button or at the touch of my fingertips. Okay, so in conclusion, the internet has given humanity the ability to discover scientific and historical information at the click of a button. Okay, so why I can use this now? Because I've defined it. So I've defined the concept of click of a button, right, with use of devices and so on. So it's no longer an awkwardly positioned concept for the reader. Okay, so in conclusion, the internet has given humanity the ability to discover scientific and historical information at the click of a button. As well, it has created a demand for different skill sets for prosperity that did not exist in the past. Okay, so this is still my second point. Okay, my second point coming here, all right? So it has created a demand for different skill sets for prosperity that did not exist in the past. Now my argument strengthened. Okay, argument strengthen means that now I'm going to say again the position or the side that I support, and I'm going to say it with a lot of strength. Why? Because I just spent 250 words telling my reader what's going on and giving examples. Okay, so now I'm going to really strengthen this argument. Therefore, I strongly believe that there is a much lower need for schools to focus on rote memorization of facts about the past and science. Okay? So a really kind of strong reiteration of this idea. And now my take-home message. Okay? So take-home message. The goal of education should always be to enable a thriving society of the future. Okay? That's my message, right? So what's the goal of education? The goal of education isn't just to give you ideas so you have ideas in your head. The goal of education should always start with, what can I do for my learner so that my learner is successful in life and in society? Okay, so here is my conclusion, and this idea is strongly supported by my essay, all right? Your take-home message should always be strongly supported by the essay. So in conclusion, the internet has given humanity the ability to discover scientific and historical information at the click of a button. As well, it has created a demand for different skill sets for prosperity that did not exist in the past. Therefore, I strongly believe that there is a much lower need for schools to focus on rote memorization of facts about the past and science. The goal of education should always be to enable a thriving society of the future. Okay? And that, students, is the goal of all of our videos and of all of our strategies and lessons that we teach you for your IELTS exam. And that's how we have designed all of our learning material at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gltshelp.com. It's not just to teach you catchphrases like plethora or there are many reasons that the internet has. Our goal is to teach you to be critical thinkers, to be good communicators, and good at English so that you're successful on IELTS and then you're successful in school and in your lives in English-speaking countries. That's what's important, not just to memorize essays and memorize sentences, okay? That's not the goal. So definitely visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS students and gltshelp.com for general IELTS students. And you can even use that code R4TYJ to get that 20% discount. You're very, very welcome, Rashika. You're welcome, Nargis, Sultan, Rajveer. Thank you so much. Lots and lots of people in this class. I'm glad to have been here with you, sharing my knowledge. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. If it's late, get some good rest. Tomorrow, I will be back with question and answer session for our members and a speaking part 2 for everyone where you can join the chat. Much love to all of you. I'm Adrian signing out from Budapest for now. Bye.